Got a vasectomy, now I have a superpower? I, 33 got my vasectomy last year after having 3 children. My wife told me I had to. Lolo man, was I scared shitless after watching 100 plus YouTube videos on the matter. Nonetheless, it was necessarily the pain I was afraid of, but rather how it could affect your sex life. People complain of numbness, or not being able to get off anymore, which makes me nervous. Well, after a year and a shitty shirt from my wife, my new ability, so to speak, is that now I can come on command. Whether that's a gift or a curse, I still can't put my thumb on it. It's no longer a matter of damn that feels good, it's either the session is taking too long, or my wife is spent and tells me to climax with her. Is this worth bitching about? I'm not saying I'm a stud now, by no means, but sex isn't the same for me now. I feel like I've fallen under that notion of being numb, I guess. It's hard to explain. I've told my buddies not to get the procedure, giving them my opinion. They laugh and say they wish they had that ability. Anyone else here go through changes after a vasectomy? After 20 plus years of marriage, I've just accepted the fact that the state of our relationship is entirely dependent upon my wife's monthly cycle. Is my wife ovulating? She's very lovey-dovey. All is well in the household. Marital bliss. I'm the best husband in the world. Is she PMSing? Our relationship is going through a rough patch. We need our alone time. I'm failing as a husband. Is she doing neither of these things? All is well. Nothing too exciting, nothing too depressing going on. Meanwhile, my mood never changes. My actions never change. The same thing that I do that she loves one week, she will hate the next, and then miss the week after that. I'm not complaining. I've learned to accept it. I know she can't control it. If anything, I pity her. I can't imagine how much it must suck to be so at the mercy of your own hormones. Wish I never went on Omegle. I first started going on there when I was around 13. It started with friends and I doing it as a joke and making fun of guys that expose themselves on there. I started chatting on there by myself, and that's when I started getting into chats for fandom and role-playing that became sexual. I remember the first night I stayed up by myself and was on video. I would talk to random people, many were older than 18, some much older. Usually I didn't show my face, but when I was first starting I didn't know any better and often did. I let them talk me into flashing my boobs, or sometimes into showing my full body. I wish I could say I didn't like it, but I loved the attention and validation I got from it. I thought what I was doing made me more mature. Now I just cringe at that. I more or less started masturbating regularly by going on Omegle and doing some of the games or having guys tell me how to. One of the worst time periods was when one guy talked me into downloading Kik and messaging him. This was around the beginning of lockdown during the pandemic. He seemed really nice at first. This one didn't start with anything sexual, but eventually he started sending me dick pics and asking for me to send him things. This went on for months, and I mostly sent him what he asked for. I know a lot of what I did might still be out there. Sometimes I think about how pictures or videos of me might be out there, or worst case I get recognized. I also feel like it made me more sexual far younger than I should have been, and I didn't fully understand what I was being told to do or how weird or gross it was these men who were much older than me were doing this with me. I wish I could say I never do it again, but when I'm really stressed or lonely I go back, and it's like instant attention. Even though that feels wrong and like something I should stop, I still do it sometimes. It's almost like this addiction. So there is that. I wish I never went on there. I feel like it influenced me in some really bad ways and got me involved in things I otherwise never would have done. I just lost my only son to suicide after his mother, the love of my life, died in a car accident a year ago. Words can't fathom how heartbroken and hopeless I feel. I can't understand why this had to happen to me. I, 47 was married to my wife, Kim, for 26 years when she was killed after getting hit by a drunk driver who ran a red light. She was 46 at the time. The drunk driver also died in the accident, so that was it. Kim was such a beautiful, loving, and down-to-earth woman. I don't know what I, of all men, did to deserve someone like her. We may have been young and dumb when we got married, but it only got better over time. Together, we had a son, Blaze, 21 He was a mama's boy and looked just like his mother. Blaze had those same hazel eyes, brown hair, and a smile that could light up the world, just like Kim. I was very proud from when I first looked into his eyes the day he was born to call myself his father. Kim's death has been especially hard on Blaze. Before the pandemic, he has struggled with depression. But Kim and I had supported him and have never left his side. After her funeral, he felt worse, but with therapy and medication, he seemed to be doing a little better. He's in college 2 hours away from home. We didn't talk every single day but often. He would home for the weekend every now and then. But he would come less often in the last month of his life. I've asked him about it, but he said he's been busier than normal. One day I got a text from him that said, and I quote, "I can't do this anymore. You have always been my rock. I couldn't be more grateful for that. I love you, Dad." I texted him a few times and got no answer. I tried calling him and got no answer. I tried for almost an hour and got no answer. Then my boss needed me for something urgent and I had to stop. The next afternoon, I got a call saying Blaze had died from an overdose and that his roommate found him passed out in their apartment and called an ambulance. But by the time EMS got there, it was too late. I couldn't believe what I'd heard. Blaze was my baby, and he was all I had left of him. And now he's gone too. I didn't know he was doing drugs. I broke down in my office. My boss found me crying in my office and comforted me for a little while before she let me leave early. Blaze's funeral was yesterday. He was buried right next to Kim. I have to go back to work on Thursday and can't accept that I not only lost the love of my life, but also my baby in the span of a year. I'm heartbroken and I don't know what I did to deserve this. Why did life have to take my family from me? How is this fair? I ruined an underage girl, and her family's, life. So about 2 weeks ago I, 25 meters matched with an 18 years/O girl. The conversation hit off and I thought it was going well until we exchanged numbers. My first mistake here was not verifying her age, which was the biggest mistake of my life, as I'll explain later. She asked for my selfie, in which I gave, but it was just a normal photo of myself at my job. However, she sent a NSFW photo which I was immediately uncomfortable by, but the conversation kept going. Mistake number 2. The conversation only went to us talking about our favorite shows after that and things we like to do, which stayed clean. The conversation ended there. Fast forward to 2 days later when I get a call from a child protective agency asking about this same girl who they revealed to actually be 15. I was of course at a loss for words. The mom wanted to press charges against me for going against the terms of service on this dating site, which is understandable. The dad, however, didn't want the police involved and we worked out a solution to where I could help pay for her counseling, which I agreed to. It was a lot of money and it took me a while to get it to him, but after it was all transferred I had thought I could forget all of this. I was wrong. Fast forward to today. I get a call from the Child Protection Agency again, in which they tell me that this girl is in critical condition, in which she attempted to take her own life. The agent then tells me that my name was put in the suicide note and that she said that our secrets were safe with her. I was in the car when he told me this and I almost caused a crash. I didn't even know this girl and all of a sudden she put me in her note? The agent then suggested that I call the dad. The dad was livid with me and was beyond confused. I was as well, and as I explained to him that there were no secrets that her and I had shared, I could tell that he was not having any of it. The only things that this girl and I exchanged were movie interests and TV shows. He then said that he is still not wanting to go to the police and that he needs me to help pay for her medical bills. I can't afford to give any more money and I'm beyond confused here, as nothing like this has ever happened to me. As I said, I have been crying in my car for the past 10 minutes before writing this. I don't know what to do here because it was never my intention to do this, as I was absolutely gullible enough to believe she was 18. I want to tell my mom, who I live with, about this, but I'm afraid she'll be angry with me. What do I do here?